Today we probably have the most important chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 265, and we're going to cover it in today's video, so let's get right into it. This chapter is titled That Day, and it starts with Sukuna saying he's never experienced this before, the rare phenomenon of connecting with a sorcerer during the height of battle. He mentions how he thinks it's a side effect due to curse energy being born from humans, but he notices that this is something different. He asks, "What is this, your domain?" Yuji says, "Enough chatter, I did this frantically, I don't really get it either. I just wanted time to talk to you." At this point in the chapter, Yuji is about to take Sukuna down a trip to memory lane. Yuji talks about how he was born in Sendai, and they lived there for his grandpa's work. He came back here for the first time in 10 years for a funeral for a friend of his grandpa's. He wouldn't say it was a ghost town, but he's surprised how empty the place had become. "Actually, I guess I wasn't surprised," Yuji says. "If I'm being honest, I kind of expected it. It didn't really shake me." Sukuna stands there in silence, clearly getting annoyed by Yuji's antics. They go to a park that Yuji used to spend a lot of time in as a child. Yuji talks about how he stubbed his toe on a swing set and even dropped some slime down a drain, and that he cried when he did that. Yuji notices a flower. He says, "A morning glory." Sukuna says, "That's a hydrangea, you moron." Yuji says, "I know, careless mistake. A ton of these bloom here, huh? I really noticed it after I moved to Sendai. I wonder who's in charge of deciding all the foliage in each town." Yuji then notices that Sukuna knew the difference between the flowers. Of course, this would catch you off guard, someone like Sukuna knowing any flowers at all, but it is revealed that he only knew this because of Megami's memories. Yuji then asks why it wouldn't be possible for Sukuna to remember these memories they're going through right now. Sukuna says he didn't waste his time going through memories like that. This park was pretty far from his house, Yuji says. He says that he used to catch crayfish here and asks Sukuna to try it out, and he says unless the strongest sorcerer in history can't catch some crayfish. Sukuna says silence as they catch crayfish together. How wholesome, an uncle and his nephew catching some crayfish. Sukuna insults the crayfish Yuji caught, calling it microscopic. Yuji also says that the crayfish Sukuna caught was American, where Japanese ones are more rare. Yuji continues to yap about the town, about a new store that had opened up that had killed all the smaller shops, and Sukuna really does not care about all this yapping. They then go to the countryside. Yuji talks about catching grasshoppers and even talks about the horses his grandpa used to take him to see. They shoot some arrows together, and Yuji is impressed by Sukuna's archery skills, but of course he's from the Heian era where archery was far more common. Yuji tells Sukuna about the snow sculptures he used to make and how he used to hear bells in the winter that reminded him of Santa Claus and Christmas. We also get to see baby Yuji. Yuji says he thinks he's shown everything he wanted to show to Sukuna. Sukuna says, "Your blathering is disgusting, say what you want to say." "Up until recently, I thought I should simply live to fulfill my role as I understood it," Yuji says. "I thought if I had died like that, I could at least consider it a proper death. But now, I feel like that's not entirely right." We see in this panel Yuji's grandfather, Junpei, and even Nanami. Walking the dog, raising a family, any sort of role like that is just fine. Even if you don't have anything like that, as long as you can eat, shit, and sleep. Even if you're stuck in bed sick, even if you've spent your life with no connections and nothing really remains of you, just the tiny fragments of memories that make up a person drifting elsewhere, giving value to a human life. This page shows Gojo, Choso, and Nobara. I think, unfortunately, confirming she's dead, and this sucks to see, but I'm also really glad to see her just in the manga again, because it feels like she was kind of forgotten for a really long time. It has nothing to do with how someone dies. I couldn't ever forgive anyone who acted as if value didn't exist. Sukuna, I loathe you. People aren't tools, we aren't born with any set role. I have no clue whether humans are fundamentally good or evil. Yuji says he thought he should let him see the humanity of someone other than himself. Of course, someone you see no value in. Sukuna says he doesn't feel a thing. I understand everything you're saying, brat, and yet I feel absolutely nothing. Just as you felt when you saw how quiet this town became. I think this is kind of Yuji rejecting his role as like a cog in Jujutsu, and Sukuna kind of sees people fitting roles in Jujutsu as well, and Yuji at this point is completely rejecting that. He tried to show Sukuna some humanity, and Sukuna's just straight up with him and just is like, "I see what you're trying to do here, but I do not care." And you know what? I appreciate that out of a villain, just being straight up and like, "I don't care." Yuji says, "No dice, huh?" Sukuna says, "I'm dumbfounded by just how cowardly you're being. Your rage towards me, your hatred. Is this all it amounted to? Wait, you couldn't possibly be. Are you pitying me?" Yuji says, "You're right. Release Fushiguro, I can kill you. Return to my body and I'll spare your life. This proposal drives Sukuna absolutely insane. He says, such a grave, severe misconception. I won't stop at simply mincing you to bits, brat. Right in front of your eyes, I'll slaughter each and every human being you claim to be oh so valuable. And Sukuna is absolutely tweaking in this panel. I probably can't show it because it's probably too early and it'll get copyright or whatever. But he's tweaking in this panel. I'm so hyped for this. This fight is about to go crazy. I'm still really glad that we got a quiet moment between the two and Yuji was able to kind of give Sukuna, a little background of his childhood. But I think this really shows that Sukuna at his core is completely evil and did not care at all. And I think this kind of shows Yuji now that there's no saving to be done and he's going to go all out to do whatever it takes to kill Sukuna. So this fight coming up is going to be insane. I mean, Yuji's powered up to an extreme degree now. So I hope Sukuna doesn't hold back at all. I hope this fight's savage. I hope the hatred flows, I mean, I can't even express how excited I am for this. But this chapter was really cool. I really like to see Yuji kind of, explaining these mundane things that seem really simple at the surface. But I think on a deeper level, he's just trying to show. With that, the final battle of JJK is set. Yuji versus Sukuna. Neither side is going to hold back. Yuji tried his best to give Sukuna a chance to amend his sins. Although, of course, Sukuna, being the pure evil being he is going to go all out and try to kill Yuji. And Yuji is ready. He is beyond ready for this moment. I'm super excited for this fight. And you guys got to let me know, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think of this chapter in general? I am really curious, and I'm really glad Gege's taking it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you stopping by today. And the channel's growing, and it just means a lot to me. So I want to give you guys a little sneak peek at the end here of my next video, since we'll have a break next week. And yeah, again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.